brought a lot of energy into the Republican Party.
Yes.
Oh, you don't mean that! Second of all, I hope that you stick to your thing of only doing 3 terms as you run for another office. If you know, unfortunately have 3 terms.
I have an announcement to make. I have limited myself to no more than 6 years in Congress. I will never break that pledge. Nobody else knows this, but I don't even think my wife knows it. If I'm fortunate enough to be sent back to Congress a couple times, Will and I have already talked. I'm back in the kitchen.
Okay. So Will, run.
Washing dishes.
Washing dishes. I will not break the pledge.
I wish you would, but either way.
We'll see what happens.
Let's just get this one done first.
Thank you.
But second of all, you know, I know you're making a statement with this, but that you sleep in your office and you don't take the health care. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure you're doing quite well and maybe you don't need it, but I mean, in the private sector, we do get health care. So I don't think it'd be so bad if you did do that. Because, you know, I mean, not everyone in the private sector gets it, but a lot do. And you got to pay into it. And maybe yours is better than ours, who knows? I don't know. I've heard you guys have great insurance and everything like that, but I don't think there's any shame in taking the health care that's offered to you because you got the job.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
And also, you should, you don't have to sit in the office. I think you deserve to have an office besides, but...
Well, thank you. Let me explain. Have a seat. And thank you. Let me explain why I did the things I did. Why do I sleep in my office? I'll be really honest and blunt. I live...
Sorry.
Oh, does that look good?
Yeah, I'm waiting. I was just
No! Interrupt the congressman. Yes. I live in McHenry, Illinois. That's my home. I was born and raised in Barrington. I don't want to live in Washington. I don't like that city that much. It's so symbolically, and it's just also, look, when I'm there, I'm working 20 hours a day, and I pretty much crash on my floor. But it meant a lot to me to be able to say, remind myself, this is home, that's not home. The health care. I turned down my pension and my health care. Here's why I turned down my health care. I originally said, 2 years ago, I'm not going to accept government health care, because at that time, Congress came up with Obamacare, and remember? Initially, they exempted themselves from it. And I said, that's scary. Now, the American people raised the stink, and they said, that's not right, so Congress begrudgingly put themselves into Obamacare. But members of Congress do have a really nice health care plan. It's better than what the average bear out here has. I don't think that's right. Health care right now is a crucial issue. If we don't repeal Obamacare, 80 to 90% of the people in this world will have a lower quality of care than they do now. It's not right that Congress has shoved Obamacare down all of us, and yet they still have a nice plan. I just don't think it's right. Final one on the pension. Really simple. I don't believe members of Congress should get pensions, period. But again, I'm old-fashioned. I think you go there for a little bit of time. It's a sacrifice. You suffer. You don't enrich yourself. And like our founders believed, then I come home, go back and work on the farm, figuratively speaking, and somebody else goes. And I want Americans to understand that's what our founders set up. Now we got this funny-looking creature called the professional politician, Republican or Democrat. They go there for life, and they end up coming out. Why do they always end up leaving office with more money than they had when they were in?
Good investments.
Oh my gosh! And how come they always land in a really cushy lobbying job? Because we let them. We've created professional politicians. It's wrong. And last point, study after study shows the longer politicians are in DC, the greater their tendency to expand government. Because the longer you're there, they no longer think it's your money, they think it's their money. They think they're playing with Monopoly. Thank you. Thank you. Thoughts, issues, questions? Yes, ma'am.
because he turned down your retirement, that helps. I don't have to swallow a public card that you voted for postal employees to pay more for their retirement. But also in previous meeting, you mentioned about ideally it should be paid something like 10% taxes. This was talking about 2,000.
Right.
In fact, well, Okay, the whole idea that, that if capitalism or anything were very,
Welcome, guys.
very extreme, it would be, fairness
Yes.
for those who don't really have knots. And so, I guess if somehow we can be consistent with some provision, pay 10% or whatever, so that the have-nots can somehow be provided for. If we have a Republican Congress,
Thank you.
100% Republican Congress would be
Yeah.
balances.
Thank you. It's a great question. Here's what I believe. I believe right now we have an ugly, 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 complicated tax code that only really rich people and big corporations can benefit from. Because they can afford accountants and lawyers that you and I can't, and they find every loophole under the sun. I believe fundamentally it's our money. I believe we all, rich, middle class, and poor, we all give too much of it to government. We need to keep more of our own money. And I'm never going to run away from that. And I wish Mitt Romney would say this. It's our money, it's my money, I've done well, I'm proud of that, and I want you to do well. So, because that's what I believe, I like the notion of a simple flat tax. I want everybody to be able to fill out their taxes every year on something this size.
Yes.
All of us. And I don't know what the rate is. The Ryan plan calls for 2 rates, 25 and 10. The Romney plan is a little different. I like the notion of 1 rate. We're all God's children, we all have 1 rate. But I think when we simplify the tax code like that, and we all get to keep more of our money, good things happen. This company grows, he hires people, somebody starts a business, because now you've got more of your own money. Because the good stuff in America happens out here. It doesn't happen in Washington. But right now, Washington's taking too much of our money, and people out here are dying.
And I think there's push overseas too, aren't they? Because businesses don't
Oh,
want
great point. And businesses are leaving the country. Sometimes because we've incentivized them to leave, which is wrong, but we've also made it pretty expensive to do business here. Heck, we've made it expensive for companies to do business in Illinois. That's why they leave for Wisconsin and Indiana. You see, Obama has this mentality that's shared by Duckworth that America is like these 60 different groups. And I gotta go after the wealthy group. And if I penalize the wealthy group, everybody else will be better off. I don't know. I think if you penalize the wealthy guy who owns a business in Schaumburg, and you keep penalizing him and taking more of his money, pretty soon he's going to pick up and he's going to move to Wisconsin. And then how did you do for all the people who work for that wealthy guy? I don't look at this country like that. I look at a country where everybody wants to be as successful and wealthy as they can. And I want to make it easy. And I can tell you, if Republicans all get elected in November, tax reform is going to be one of the first things I think we move on. Somehow we're going to simplify this tax code. Thank you. Don't forget, order, order, order. How is it? Oh, wait a minute. How is it, Helene?
I got to.
No, but how is it?
It's absolutely delicious.
Absolutely delicious. I think were her exact words.
I think you
Hey?
quote her on
That's my
that.
quote.
I think you quote her.
Tell all your kids, tell your grandparents about wills. I want everybody in here once a week. Yes, who's got one? Yes, sir.
Joe, I don't know if you know this or not,
That's a good point.
but politicians, especially our president, are talking about this because this is going on in his backyard. There's a heroin epidemic in the state of Illinois, and specifically the Chicago area. And within the last month at Roselle Salerno Funeral Home, there's been 5 wakes of young men and women that are under the age of 30 that have overdosed on heroin. Point of entry is O'Hare Airport. I have heard nothing from any politician. The overdose rate in Illinois and the Chicago area specifically is 500 times over the national average.
Why? Do we know why?
Point of entry. Close to the point of entry, the purest form of heroin is. It's coming into O'Hare. Nobody's talking about this. I just went to a wake last Friday of a 24-year-old kid.
Do we know where it's coming from?
It's coming from somewhere other. It's not coming from Mexico anymore. It's coming from somewhere overseas. And Obama's not talking about this. That's why we have this gang problem and all the shootings on the west side, because these suburban kids have to go down to the west side to get their heroin, and they're dropping like flies. And this is a young generation that's...
The only reason I heard of this a few months ago, we have a good friend in Lake Zurich whose 17-year-old daughter last year died of a heroin.
It's not stopped. I volunteer at a place called Sharon Hoffman Estates, and I try to work with these young people, and they're dropping like flies. Sometimes first-time use. This kid was a Medina resident. His younger brother found him in his bedroom with a needle still in his arm.
What can be done? What do you think?
I have no idea. I think we're spending more money trying to fight it, and it's still coming in. I think we need to address the addicts rather than the trying to forget it. We need to educate them or help the ones that are addicted, because they don't have a future if we don't. I'm not saying this as if I expect you to do anything, but I would like to see someone talking about it, because this is in Obama's backyard and no one's talking about it, and he's never going to talk about it.
Do you think it's pretty pervasive throughout the Chicago area?
Every week when I talk to these young people, I ask them where they're from. They're from St. Charles, they're from Barrington, they're from Palm State. They're not from where you would expect heroin addicts to come from. They're right from our community. These are wealthy young kids that have just got themselves wrapped up into the newest drug, and once you're hooked, it's a full-time job.
I can speak, I want to speak to that here. You know, when I was in college, I went to Wright Junior College. What I'm getting at, I don't think they're getting to the kids to make them realize how dangerous this stuff is. When I was at Wright Junior College, they had an assembly, and what happened was, this is when it's just marijuana was just starting to come out, and he showed these kids, remember when we used to play baseball, I used to have the corner or the store, a mom and pop store, where you could go get your Twinkies and your Pepsi-Cola, you know, after the ball game and all that? Well, they showed these kids were high on marijuana, and they got their Pepsis, and they were sold out of it with marijuana. This kid took a Pepsi bottle, instead of taking, he didn't have the can opener, he went like this on the curb, and he drank it, and he drank glass. And that made such an impression on me that I never would ever touch anything like that. And I think that's what's going to have to happen in our school. We're going to have these assemblies and tell these kids, this is, if you go in this direction, this is what's going to happen.
It's intervention and education.
I think that's the approach.
And I think the takeaway for all of us is, what he says is true. There is I'm pretty close to using that word, but there's something pretty tragic going on right now.
Five wakes in less than a month over in Roselle.
It's happening in high schools all over the area, all over the region. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. People should be aware of this. Other thoughts, issues, questions, guys, about anything? You, young lady.
Voter ID.
Well, you all probably don't know, but 2 months ago, I introduced a bill in Congress that said to vote in a federal election, you have to show a legitimate photo ID. Most people don't realize that it's federal law right now. To vote in a federal election, you have to be an American citizen. We've just, that sounds fairly obvious, we've just never really enforced it. So when I go back in September, I'm going to reintroduce that bill, because this is just such a common sense issue. There's no way anybody can defend being on the other side of this issue.
It's only because they're benefiting.
Well, unless you want dead people voting or you want whoever voting, there's no way you can defend this. So we're going to drop it again in September. The Pennsylvania ruling was great. Understand though, we've got an Obama administration that's suing states. I mean, they sue states for a lot of reasons.